Good morning, all. My name is Ompuran, and I'll be a host for today. The COVID-19 outbreak is causing worldwide concerns and economic hardships for consumers, businesses, and communities across the globe. Now, these are generally challenging spells for companies and employees in every market. And as your technology partner, we just want to play our part in helping your business stay agile and productive in the months and years ahead. So in this regard, we have set up this webinar series. This is hosted by a team of industry experts from Solsa Semi, a Yes technology company, and we welcome you to this episode of our premium webinar series. Our topic for today is digital learning, a new normal way to upskill. Now let's look at the profile of our speakers for today. Now today our main session would be presented by Mr. Nagesh Polu. Nagesh is a lead consultant for SuccessFactors and he has over 13 plus years of experience. And Nagesh is an LMS specialist and has implemented SuccessFactor LMS to various clients around the globe. He has won numerous accolades and appreciation from customers across the globe. And other than LMS, he is also certified in various other modules of SuccessFactors. Now, next we have with us, we are very privileged to have Mr. Sarath Chandra Pangnamula. Now, Sarath is our head of SAP, HCM, and SuccessFactors service line. Plus, he is also heading the higher education and research practice at Yes Technologies and Solstice. Now, Sarath has over 2 decades of experience in digital human capital management space and as well as with SuccessFactors. He holds responsibility for operational and delivery portfolios in within Yash, while partnering with businesses for innovation towards improving speed, quality, and value of business application. Now, before I hand over the mic to our speakers, I just wanted to highlight few points. Due to the pandemic situation, I guess most of us are connected via from home, and there can be few internet issues or connectivity related things happening. So don't worry if such thing happen. We would always be here. If you're disconnected, you can rejoin the session through the same link provided to you. And from our side, we are ensuring that the broadcast is of best quality of audio and video to you. And today's webinar is also available on demand after the live session, and we'll be sharing you the details. And we are also taking questions as well as your inputs. So if you have any questions for our speaker, please feel free to send it through the Ask the Question tab at the bottom of your player, or you can also see it at the top. You have a button wherein you can feed in your questions. So we'll be answering them at the end of the session. And so without any further ado, I would like to kick things off by welcoming Mr. Sarath. Sarath, good morning, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Om. I really appreciate the introduction. And good morning to all the participants of today's webinar from Celsius. I appreciate everyone for taking our time and joining us this morning. And we are all aware that the kind of situation globally that we are going through, especially the pandemic. So it is locking us to their homes, but we can still unlock our potentials, and this is the best way to connect, wherever you are, and then explore, and then they pick up the new learnings. So without much delays, I would like to move on to the core of today's webinar. As Om already given the introduction, I am Sharath. I head the SAP SuccessFactors portfolio with Yash Technologies. And coming to our company, Solstius is a part of Yash Technologies group, and this was taken over by Yash Technologies in 2015. And we have been operating on the name of Solstius in the Middle East region area. So we are globally headquartered in East Moline with close to about 6,000 employees, and then we primarily focus on the IT services, especially our major services are on SAP. And our revenues are also more than 70% come from the SAP stream. And we have global presence, having about 40 plus offices in 6 different continents. And we regionally headquartered in Dubai, with about 200 plus people operating from our Dubai office. And we are pretty, SAP, we are having a gold partner with SAP in multiple areas like SAP AMS, SAP services, and we are also actually into the cloud business as well. And we have other services on the technologies like Oracle, Microsoft, AWS, etc. And can you move on to the next slide? So coming to our competencies in the success factors, the today's webinar is learning management, which is part of the success factors solution. Uh, we actually partnered with SAP uh, long time, and then success factors is one of our key service area where we have more than 200 plus employees, and then we have about close to about 30 plus employees working, consultants working in the Middle East region. And our services are majorly into implementations and the integrations, training, and support. These are the primary services. Apart from that, we also help our customers in preparing their HCM roadmap in terms of how they can actually embed the technology, how they can do a digital transformation of their HR. And we have been actually associated with the customers like what you see on the names and below the logos, the largest customers like Almarai, where there are about 50,000 plus employees, and a small company like Eagle Hills, where they have about close to about 400 to 500 employees. So we are actually associated with multi-size companies, multi-businesses, of course, and we have a very good success stories in the Middle East region, Middle East and South Africa especially. And we are also recognized by SAP in that region as we got a Best Partner Award in 2018 for our SFSF services. And we also got specialized in rapid deployment solutions. It's a kind of a packages that we bring to our customers where they want to implement the SuccessFactors applications or a module in record time. We have the specialization, we have an IP on that, and we have done multiple implementations, such implementations in this region. And we have a core in all, we have the expertise of implementing all the modules of SuccessFactors, including the employee central payroll, which is one of the niche thing. And we already did that in this part of the world, where in the UAE, one of our UAE customers, having about 3,500 employees strength, we implemented employee central payroll as well. So, and we have our the logos. What you see is our pride, only a partial list. We have an extensive list, and we have too many great stories to talk about. But considering the time limitation, I would like to turn it on to my colleague Nagesh. Nagesh will take it further and engage you in the next couple of 40 minutes or so before we again meet for question and answer session. Nagesh, over to you, please.
Hey, thank you, sir. Hi all, this is Nagesh. Very good morning to and welcome to our webinar. So today in this session, we are going to speak all about digital learning, which is a new normal way to upskill your employees or staff. When we say digital learning, there are a lot of concepts under. So today, our focus will be on learning management systems. As you all know, we'll have a question what does an LMS do? It helps you to organize and deliver e-learning courses in a simple way. Taking current situation into consideration, we can easily tell that these LMS applications are going to be part of our ecosystem going forward. Having said that, we'll move with a simple agenda. We'll see the current challenges, how to overcome the challenges with having a perfect LMS solution in place. We'll also introduce SuccessFactors LMS and its features. Also, we'll show you a live system with all the actual nuts and bolts in the place. Then we'll tell you what kind of methodology we follow for implementing SuccessFactors LMS and typical timelines. Finally, before we wrap up the session, we'll have a quick Q&A session where we'll try to answer as many as questions possible. Right. So before we talk about anything, I always prefer starting the session with showing a real case study. So this case study is all about a manufacturing chain and their successful story. The story starts from LMS tool selection to how they dealt overcoming the current pandemic situation. Let me quickly play the video for you.
XYZ Company is a global manufacturing company. It has a presence in more than 4 continents. At XYZ's company, around 90% of employees worked out from the manufacturing hubs. Last year, Sasha's had implemented SuccessFactors Suite at XYZ. XYZ had rated Sasha's 5 on 5 for this project and was very happy with the implementation. SuccessFactors LMS was also one of the implemented modules. Derek, the head of learning and development with XYZ, had compliance training and upskilling of employees on top of his agenda. He leveraged the best of SuccessFactors LMS and was able to achieve the following benefits: relief from sending courses to all the new hires via emails, break from maintaining learning history in Excel sheets. Things were going smooth until the sudden lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic. The plant was suddenly shut, and employees were asked to work from home. As most of the employees were field technicians, they had limited responsibilities to execute from home. Derek and his team immediately thought of utilizing employees' time in carrying out training and upskilling activities. After a discussion with management, Derek put a plan for upskilling, reskilling, employee motivation, and compliance. Upskilling: XYZ conducted technical training on plant equipment and their maintenance while leveraging the availability of the SuccessFactors LMS. Reskilling: XYZ quickly realized that they need to invest in emerging tech such as AI, IoT, and VR. It started to train select staff through online channels using the LMS. Employee motivation: XYZ started work from home survival series with self-paced micro-learning courses, social distancing, family care during the pandemic, etc. Compliance: all in-person compliance courses scheduled were preponed to the nearest date. This way XYZ took the full advantage of SuccessFactors LMS and was able to execute their learning and development goals despite the lockdown.
Well, with so much of uncertainty, we have seen how we can still make it, right? Great. Keeping up the positive momentum, let's go ahead and when you see the screen, like the top numbers are really impressive. These numbers are coming from those organizations which already have learning and development in practice and have a good e-learning application in place. You can see the sales, real time hitting high, the profitability is high, and the best part we see is like the productivity has been improved almost 17%. In the second part of the screen, it talks about a poll which was recently conducted by SHRM Dubai. So you can see 77% felt that capability building initiatives should not be put on hold, seeing the current situation. In fact, the best thing we noticed from this poll is most of them suggested keeping on hold will really affect the organizations in the long run. Instead, they recommended organizations should prioritize the audience for these learning initiatives. Having rightly said, let's move on to the challenges. Okay? We'll be speaking about the challenges which are totally inevitable for any kind of industry. You take pharma, you take oil and gas. I mean, it can be any of kind, any shape or any size. As you see on the screen, the first challenge you notice is widening of skills gap. In simple terms, companies are totally worried seeing the pace of technology changing. They see their employees are lacking the right skills to make the staff ready for tomorrow. This has been always there, right? And also will be the biggest challenge going forward for any kind of industry, as we see a paradigm shift in the technology or in maybe the business process, taking the current situation into consideration. Let's speak on recently, the World Economic Forum itself said that 54% of the employees will require significant reskilling or upskilling by 2022. Wow, that's a huge when you say 54%, right? But don't worry. Once you have LMS kind of applications in place, you can start initiating wide range of interactive courses, which will generate curiosity among the employees. You can also have programs or curriculums designed as per your requirements anytime. Here, we also have a recommendation for the companies which is planning to implement LMS. Always remember, learning happens when people are really curious. If they're curious, they tend to learn more, and in turn, you'll see a better outcome. And let me tell you the beauty of these LMS kind of applications. Having LMS, the staff can take a course from anywhere or any device. There is no hard rule that employee has to allocate some time during office hours to complete these courses, keeping his work aside. As these courses are accessible via mobiles, your desktops, your laptops, whatever in individual care. Likewise, most of the organizations or the HR teams or the L&D teams in place see a big challenge coming up in terms of training the new hires. They have to be trained on certain things before they are given a real-time work. Most of these organizations do this manually via emails or conducting some induction kind of sessions where they see a group of people are ready to have these sessions. But having the correct tool in place, you can always automate these tasks and keep a track of completion. Let me put an example for you. Let's say Mr. Employee, Mr. XYZ onboarded today. The tool will check the high dates and auto-assign the training based on his department or the type of work expected from him or her. Also, at the same time, you always track the completion of the tracking in real time. Now, this is evident that these applications will help you to get rid of your manual activities and save a lot of time. Big relief, right? So the next is more or less a common challenge to all, the training cost, where your real money is invested. Having external trainers visiting again and again, you buying the same courses again and again, is the most common scenario which we see in the most of the organizations. So you should start utilizing LMS kind of solutions where you can always reuse the content. As you see on the screen, they can be reused any number of times. You can revise any number of times. And as usual, the beauty of the tool is we can have one single training eliminating like one size fits all kind of trainings, because we can bring all the required people from you take any place in the world together, which again eliminates your repetition of classroom courses. Well, when I say repetition, you can totally cut down your investments again and again, having them on trainers, and you can make easy to handle your training logistics. And the fourth challenge, the wide product portfolio, which is nothing but introducing new products to the market, and which again is a common practice among all growing companies using. So to encounter this, organizations need to have training kind of things in place. They have to train all the employees on the latest products. They have to constantly take feedback from their employees. So this is also one of the major problems reported by many of our customers whenever we visit them. So as every company planning to bring something or other to enhance their portfolio, the reason is like they want to bridge the gap in the markets. So to beat this, the learning tool will really help you to place some know-how kind of courses, mainly taking salespeople into consideration. Similarly, you can always take feedback or you can always examine them on the new products so that the team is ready to hit the market with full confidence. Now, let's talk about the most crucial one. And people say the reason of existence of learning management systems in today's world is the compliance trainings. Yes, every organization, you can underline this, as I said, every organization has to ensure every employee be aware of the company policies, regulations in place. Especially when you talk about pharma, this is very crucial as it is highly regulated industry. Pharma has to comply with different regulatory compliance requirements year on year, which means you need to keep retraining your staff every 365 days or so. So to overcome these challenges, again, the LMS application was built to help them to automate these trainings. So now they have a feasibility of training or having retrainings every year automatically. So these also have an e-signature facility where employee has to e-sign for every training completion. Likewise, you can also have audit reports. You can revise the content anytime. And when we talk about learning management systems, in terms of pharma industry, these learning management systems adhere to IQ, OQ, and PQ methodologies, which are nothing but the qualifications. And finally, it's not you or me or everyone currently facing the worst situation which was never expected, the COVID-19. So almost every place is in complete lockdown. We see all the manufacturing plants are closed. All the employees were asked to stay back at homes. But again, the biggest challenge for the organizations is to ensure to keep up the spirits of every individual, like we saw in the use case earlier. We have to ensure employees feel the safety and ensure that company is looking after them even at these unprecedented times, right? So the best way to ensure is start building excellent courses and start pushing them to employees so that these courses should also define the future needs. Start conducting virtual trainings, and continuously you can keep publishing some recommendations by your learning management systems. So I feel this is the best time trainings planned for next quarter or so. Even like when we visited our customers, they said they have already completed half of the trainings using LMS applications, which means they're simply ensuring there is no wastage of time once the pandemic is over. Okay. Till now, we discussed about challenges, how to overcome these challenges. So now, many of you might have started thinking, whatever the ROI, how do I measure ROI? So recently, the Federal Reserve Bank of US came up with some good white paper on the same topic. So they came up with excellent stats. As you can see on the screen, the statement says, an investment as low as $1,500 per employee in training increases profits margin by 24% on an average. That proves the worth of upskilling, right? Okay. Once you have LMS kind of applications in place, you will see hard cost expenses, coming down, and individuals getting sufficient trainings to cope up the future coming challenges in terms of technology or in terms of business processes. As I said, we can start eliminating multiple learning platforms. Now you can have single source of access to content. These tools will also help you reduce training and trainer travel costs, as the trainings now can happen from any place, anytime. Same way, individuals can join the trainings from any place. So this will really help you in cutting down the multiple training sessions and costs. For customers inviting external users, where they generated huge revenue by publishing their own trainings. Fantastic, right? Right. Time to move further. So till now, I have been talking about all the good new things of digital learning. We spoke about challenges, and we told how to overcome these challenges by having LMS kind of applications and all. So by the time, most of you might be in a position thinking of the tool that will solve or accomplish the aforesaid benefits, right? Right. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce SuccessFactors Learning Management System, which is quoted as industry's best rated learning system. As we speak, almost more than 33 million users worldwide are using SuccessFactors LMS as of today. The most when we compare with any kind of LMS applications available in the market. We at Solutious implemented SuccessFactors LMS for various clients ranging from food processing, healthcare to education, which really transformed their e-learning solutions, aligning with their business strategies as well as their individuals' learning goals. Now let me move forward. Capabilities or the features of LMS. Then, as promised, I will give a live system demo. As you see on the screen, SuccessFactors LMS has all the capabilities that can fulfill your requirements, starting from user management to security management. We can have classroom, virtual classroom courses, we can have in-house trainings, or maybe the training materials available for the training under your resource management. As said earlier, we can integrate any kind of third-party content vendors with the SuccessFactors LMS. Currently, there are already 5 to 6 partners who are already registered with standard content providers. So we can conduct exams. At the same time, you can conduct quizzes to the employees. Same time, you can get great feedback from your users. Also, the good thing is we can have external completions tracked on the same application. Internal are anyways happen, right? So same time, we can always track external trainings in the form of record learning option. And moving to the next feature, SuccessFactors LMS will help you to keep the track the cost, which means you can publish the item cost if needed, and same can be used at the time of auditing, like what cost is incurred by which cost center in the organization. Like we can also assign budgets on based on the organizations. Also, you have a training planner set up in place. And as I said earlier, you can have external users, logging into system, attending courses, paying them on to add credit cards or so. Finally, let me tell you about the security of the system. This is one of the finest secure LMS applications available in the market. GDPR compliance is already there. We have domain restrictions to provide necessary security permissions. Okay, when we speak about LMS, any LMS system will have 4 types of users. One, the learner, the supervisor, the instructor, and an admin, as you see on the screen. So till now, I have been explaining about the capabilities. We have seen types of users in LMS. Now let me take through the entire lifecycle of an LMS user and we'll follow by an admin. As you see on the screen, there is a learner. He will be assigned with items. So when I group items, we call it a curricula or a program. The main purpose of these curricula and programs are like you can design with grouping number of items at one time. So, and the difference between curricula and program is you can use curriculums for retraining purposes, which is very much beneficial for pharma kind of industries. And these can be automatically reassigned based on your duration selected. Also, as a user, he can join classroom courses or he can be assigned for a task checklist kind of courses. Now, as we keep saying, he can see, he can join, but where are these courses exactly placed for the user point of view? So these users will be seeing the assigned courses on learning plan type, or a few items will be made available in the catalogs. When I say catalog, a catalog is nothing but your menu. Similarly, through the LMS, the learner can always recommend the interesting course to his colleagues or peers. If the same learner is a supervisor, he can go for the approval process. Similarly, the users can always provide a feedback in the form of surveys. He can attend exams. He can always download the reports and submit it to their supervisors whenever required. Right. Let us go ahead and see what an admin does. So now the admin is a backend guy, right? Who is always responsible for assigning items, providing the catalog access, sharing the recommendations, and so on. The administrator can also automate the things via using a magic tool called assignment profile. So assignment profile is an automated way to assign trainings to the user. So as you see on the screen, the assignment profile can be based on several attributes like department, job role, job code, etc. And this can also be customized specifically for a group of people in place. And when we talk about content standard point of view, as we say, learning is no longer limited to simple courses based out of PDFs or PPTs or some documents. Learners started choosing a variety of learning styles to fulfill their needs. SuccessFactors LMS can always accommodate any kind of trainings, be it AACC or interactive SCORM content, or you can always choose a curated content between the listed standard content providers. We can also integrate with any third-party content providers at any given point of time. Similarly, as you see on the screen, these tools can be used to have virtual learning classrooms, which means staff can join the session from any place in the world. Currently, SuccessFactors LMS can integrate with WebEx, Skype for Business, and Adobe Connect. Finally, before I move to show the actual system, I will reconfirm that SuccessFactors LMS supports assessments. When I say assessments, it can be exams, it can be quizzes. Both the formats are supported. We can always have surveys in place. And the best part is we also have 150 plus standard reports available in the system, which will completely fulfill your reporting needs. And this can be customized at any time of point. All right, we have now spoken of all the things about SuccessFactors LMS. As I promised, it's time to see the real system and its capabilities. Let me quickly share my browser. Let me log into the system. All right. Here is the home page with various tiles. Few tiles are standard, few are custom, few appear automatically once you have right permissions to access. Likewise, in the top two tiles which are appearing are like these kind of tiles appear only once you have correct kind of permissions. Like the top two tiles you're seeing is coming from LMS. Once I have LMS permissions, I can see take courses, or if I'm a supervisor, I can always have learning approval style showing on my home page. So let me quickly navigate to LMS, which is the main topic for today. So where again, you'll see, different kinds of tiles placed on the dashboard. So the screen you're seeing is LMS homepage, where again, you see different kinds of tiles, starting from custom to standard tiles. Let me tell you, you can always tailor this page as per your requirements. The first tile you're seeing is a custom tile, where an admin is trying to lure the users by having a magical slider in place. Likewise, you can embed your videos or your YouTube videos or any external links. The next tiles you see on the screen are pretty much standard, and these can be activated based on your requirements. Like as I said, this can be tailored whatever the way you want. So here I would like to talk about the two most important tiles, which are like, one is called as My Learning Assignment, the other is the Catalog Search. This tile will appear once you have LMS user permissions. These are a mandatory kind of tiles which you can't delete or you can't hide these tiles. So once you have these in place, like the learning assignments is the place where all the courses are placed. It can be a self-assigned, or it can be a supervisor assigned, or it can be a admin assigned courses. So these items, as I first said, they can be simple free-floating items. They can be in the form of curricula or a program. Or the beauty of this tool is you can also have the on-job kind of trainings. The other important tile I would like to talk about is the catalog search. As you see, the find courses. So before I tell you about anything, like, you can always rename these tiles, that's the beauty of the system. So let me quickly see how a catalog looks like, and I will try to assign an item for myself and complete it. So as you see on the screen, I can always select this courses based on the filters on the left side. So it could be my favorite topic, or could be any type of course, or it could be based on user rating. Let's see how a user can self-assign a course and complete it. So let me search for maybe like a SuccessFactors course. Let me see if I can have any. Okay, so this one says a video. So the best thing is, like, you can start your course from the catalog itself, or you can always assign it to your learning plan. Or if you're a supervisor, you can assign it to your teammates. So let me start the course from catalog itself, and let's see how a course looks like and how I can complete it. So as you see, this is a video content course where I can just play the video and read about the information. So let me quickly complete this video. Anytime point of view, like, you can have a ACC kind of wrapper where you can take the consent from the employee. So once I click agree, so it means I'm just agreeing with the terms and conditions. So as you see on the screen, on the right side, you can see there are a lot of options. This is nothing but the agenda. So once I finish my course, there's a clear indication saying that you have completed the content. Okay, I'll try to confirm the completion. See, it clearly tells you, it clearly indicates you not met the requirements because this course has something else in place. So this is nothing but I have an exam in place where I need to attend the exam before I get the completion. So let me finish an exam. So this kind of, when I say about exam, you have a lot of options. You can have a fill up the blanks, you can have multiple questions, you can have true or false kind of questions. So maybe let me submit this. All right, see, it will clearly tell you, congratulations, I have passed it. You can always have a re-examining kind of thing. I mean, like it depends on the admin whether to give a re-attemptings or there would be only one attempt to finish this exam. At the same time, again, if I click on the confirm completion, it will take me to survey where it's mandatory before I get my certification. So these, again, surveys can be of any kinds, like multiple choice or fill up the blank, or in a multiple pages as well. So the first page you can talk about your course, and the second page you can talk about your instructor. So let me fill this survey as soon as possible and submit it. Or could I have input? Okay, I'll say something excellent, and I'll submit this. Great. Now you can see the message. Congratulations, you successfully completed this course. Now let me go back to my learning page. See, anytime I can see my courses completion, I can click view all, and I have a facility to generate my certification. So that I can just print my certificate and submit it to my supervisors or anyone at the time of my performance ratings. So having said that, let me go back to the learning page. We can, as I said, we can also have on-the-job kind of trainings, which can also be called as task checklists. These kind of trainings will be helpful to fulfill your on-the-floor trainings as an employee being placed on certain tasks, on work on machinery, or maybe doing a banking activities on the floor. So this is the reason why these kind of items are called as area of responsibility. They're placed under area of responsibility. Now quickly get into this as I'm an observer to the employee, and the employee has been listed with few tasks to complete it. So as you can see on the screen, I can see a lot of tasks placed, and this is for an employee called Syed. So once I enter into these ranks, I can list all the tasks, and I can say, like, I can always complete, or I have the feasibility of commenting on the course. I mean, like if I can say whether he has to improve, or I can just give a reward or kind of thing. So similarly, I can, once everything is fulfilled, I can always go ahead and complete record the completion of the course. So next we see a few courses on the training plan which are coming from Coursera. As I said, you can always integrate the LMS system with third-party applications. And okay, now we can see programs as well on my training plan, right? So finally, I just want to show you a curricula and a program, how it looks like. And the main thing is the program, like the program is the most hot selling unit for any kind of industry. Once they have programs in place, every client, even when we are coming to this webinar, we spoke to many clients, they clearly told us, the hot selling unit is always a program. As you can see on the screen, the overview of a program where we have videos embedded, you have external links placed. Likewise, you can also have clear, like content where it's a clear indication, the purpose of the program. And then for the user, what does he do? He'll just read all the overview, and now he's in a position to understand what is this program is all about. Now he'll click on agenda. The beauty of the program is the user can always track his progress in the progress bar. And as you know, this is a series of programs, series of items where you can always have a list of items to be completed by the user. So this can be free floating, and this can be a classroom kind of courses. Okay, before we move ahead to the supervisor screen, let me quickly show the curricula, how it looks like. So as I said, curricula again is a group of trainings. Once I click on the more, you can see, I said, right, the main difference between curricula and a program is you can have retraining kind of things on the curricula. As you clearly see, this item is always available for, required for training every year. So this duration can be based on days, months, or years. That depends on company to company. So the admin can always have it automated so that, oh, I complete today, next year on the same date, it will again reappear on my learning plan. Fantastic. So now, so as I said, look, LMS is not only about all the courses. We have been talking about courses, programs, curriculums, but again, we have something very interesting. We call it as interesting generating tools. So our main motto is to bring the users, right? So I'll show you something called collections. So you can always give an option to the users to save their external links or any useful videos in the form of collections or quick guides. Same collections can be used to recommend to other people, or maybe by the user, or an admin always can recommend these collections to any user in the organization. Let me show you one sample when you see on the screen. So for example, innovation of the future of retail, right? So here the user have collected few collections from YouTube, from Forbes.com, or some other external links. At the same time, he can see the number of views. At the same time, as I said, he can bookmark these collections, also recommend these collections to his subordinates or his peers. All right, now we have spoken much about the learner. Now let's quickly see the supervisor screen, how it looks like. So as I'm a supervisor for one of the employees, I'm able to see these tabs. So here it is. Any supervisor, he will always be seeing subordinates on the left side of the screen. He can see the learning plan of the team members. He can track them anytime. The supervisor will also be able to assign the courses to his team members, searching a catalog. Like you see a lot of options like where I can record learning, where I can assign learning to employees, where I can register the employees into classroom courses. This will enable him, like he can always go to the catalog, and if he feels something is interesting that has to be gone and that has to be attempted by his teammates, he can always go ahead and assign it to his team members. Likewise, supervisor can always pull the reports. He can always approve. He can always see the dashboard. So when I say approval, let me quickly show how an approval screen looks like. So there is a user, one of the subordinate, who is very much interested on the white paper coming from. So he wanted to have an approval from his supervisor to start this course. So it depends on the supervisor whether he can approve or deny the item. So that, once he approves, the user will be able to log into the system and he can always see the item. So this is all about the supervisor or line manager responsibilities. So before I go ahead, I can also show you the dashboard where the supervisor will see the list of items placed for the team members, and he can always, message directly from the LMS page itself. If he sees he has to want some employees because there are a lot of courses overdue, then he can always write. Now, we have seen user, we have seen employee. Finally, I'm also an instructor in this organization. As an instructor, I can always see my classes information, right? So as an instructor, I can see my scheduled classes, my past classes, and if I'm authorized to teach kind of certifications are available, I always see my options here. So for example, let me see the future class options. See, I can see the users who are going to be coming to my classes. I always can select and send an email if I want to send a message like carry your laptops or carry your pen, something kind of, and I always can go to see my past classes. And because I completed my class, I would be responsible as instructor. I would be responsible for marking attendance as well as record completion for these users. So when I speak about marking attendance, this can be automated. If the instructor is carrying an iPad, the users will be provided with a unique QR codes in the notification email they receive. So they registered into classroom trainings. The instructor can scan the QR code to mark the attendance automatically. So as you see, this screen is very easy to navigate. So before I wrap up the demo, let me quickly navigate to admin screen as well, so that I can show what are all available on the administrator screen. So before I go to administrator screen, you can see a few dashboards coming up from LMS. So these dashboards, you can always enable it for supervisors or head of departments, where they can clearly see how many training hours per FTE or what type of courses are, populated, which are popular in our company and all. So currently, as you see on the dashboard, most of the employees have attended instructor-led kind of trainings in place. Right. Let me quickly show you the administrator screen as well. So administrator, as I said, he will be doing all the assignments and all. So LMS administrator screen is running on Flash. So coming June, you'll see a new screens designed on UEFI. So that means even if you don't have Flash supported browser, you can always use the administrator screens. So as an administrator, I can create items, I can make changes to any kind of information, and I'm always responsible for the configuration. As you see on the screen, I always have different kinds of menu on top bar, and I have a facility to see my recent items, like whatever I configured. Whenever I come back, I can see, okay, this was the item I was working on. Let me continue working on that. You can make changes to any kind of information. As I said, you can always use the magic tool called assignment profile. And at the same time, any organization will depend on the reports, like until unless they don't see the reports, they won't believe the system. So as I said, there are more than 150 plus reports available in the system for the administrator. They have auditing reports, and as I said, these reports can always be customized with some specified tools. We have something called Plateau Report Designer, which can be used to customize these reports anytime. With this, we have seen all the nuts and bolts of the SuccessFactors LMS. I think I should quickly move ahead to the PowerPoint. And before I talk about roadmap, as you see on the left of the screen, you can always integrate SuccessFactors LMS with other modules of SuccessFactors like career development plan or performance management, something like that, so that you can make users accountable. You can also integrate the SuccessFactors SAP Jam for social learning. So the social learning is nothing but used for informal trainings in all the organizations, like sharing articles. All the users can share the external posts with their colleagues or with their supervisors, so that the learning keeps on continuing. And now let's see how a roadmap looks like going forward. We will see SuccessFactors LMS also supporting virtual reality trainings, which means you can have virtual trainings in place. As you see on the screen, on the right side, there is a virtual training happening in the lab, where the trainers are explaining about the process of handling MRI scans, and the trainers filling it virtually. Likewise, you can have your own requirements to have the virtual reality in place. Well, the future of trainings looks very interesting, right? Also, SuccessFactors is coming up with people analytics, wherein I can build beautiful dashboards, some meaningful dashboards. Having said that, let's go ahead and see what kind of implementation methodology we follow implementing SuccessFactors LMS, and what are the typical timelines. And you see on the screen, we have already completed 50 plus LMS implementations, and the highest user base we saw was 500,000, and the lowest was 25 users. This clearly indicates, right, any size of organization can accommodate SuccessFactors LMS. So as I say, it's a new normal way to upskill your employees. And we have seen customers coming with a 5 to 6 users user base, where they're just growing. And when we speak about timeline, okay, it takes about around 8 to 16 weeks, depending on an implementation, where we finished it in 6 weeks. So we follow SAP's Activate methodology to implement SuccessFactors LMS, where we start with capturing the requirements, doing the playbacks, then having a UAT session, and to go live. All right. Time to conclude my session and move ahead with Q&A session. Before I wrap up, or before I pass the floor, I thank you all once again for joining this session, and please stay safe and stay healthy. Over to you, Om.
Hey, thank you, Nagesh. So that was pretty. Hello, am I audible, Nagesh? That was a very informative.
Yes, you're audible.
That was a very informative session, and I'm sure our audience would certainly gain a lot from the insights that you have provided. And I'll just quickly get into a few questions which we have from our audience. So the first question is there a possibility to run the courses offline, as not all employees have a high speed internet? They might want to complete the course when they are offline, and same should capture the system. So do you have such feasibility? Nagesh, would you want to answer that?
Right. I can actually say it's a fantastic question to start with, the question and answer session. So as you say, offline, yes, I mean, everywhere you see a difficulty of, internet speed, especially taking current situation. Yes, you can always have off learning. I mean, like, you can download the course when you are in office, you can come back to home, you can complete your course. Once you're back to office or the place where you have high-speed internet, you can again, the LMS automatically syncs the completion. Even few organizations have complained about the privacy of their content. So at that time, you can always handle the download option. You can restrict downloading, but you can start the course offline. So whereas once an employee or a user goes to high-speed internet, the sync would be automatically and he can get it set.
Well, thank you, Nagesh, for answering that question. So I go with the second question. You spoke
As I
about the
keep
success
on saying, this is a complete system. Success factors LMS have all the possibilities.
Okay, perfect. Now, I'm just briefing about the second question. Now, you mentioned about the success factor suite. So, is there a mandate that we have to implement the entire suite, or we can go ahead with the LMS as a standalone module or a package?
Once again, a good question. I think I would forward this to Sharad. Sharad, can you help it?
Yeah, Nagesh, thank you. See, there is no need that you need to go for the complete suite. Success Factors offers a flexibility of picking up a specific individual module. Let's say the business has got a pain area of learning, where they really want to quickly enable it and then extend it to their employees. So they can just go and buy that particular license, this being a cloud solution. So based on the number of users, you don't have to buy it for across the organization when there is no need also. For example, your employee headcount is 2,000 and you want to extend this learning platform, let's say about 400 to 500 employees, in a specific location, you want to import this particular trainings, next 6 months, you want to equip them with the trainings so that they are ready to deliver certain job responsibilities. So you can actually go and buy that many number of licenses, and the package LMS can be implemented in a package way for those 500 employees. Within a short span of time, it can be implemented. And further, it can also be integrated with whatever the existing systems of the HR system of the organization. Let's say they have some homegrown system of HCM where they don't have the learning, but they have the core HR in it, like their employee master data, payroll, time and attendance. They have that application. And LMS is something that they can go and buy from Success Factors, and we can help them to enable that particular piece. Hope this helps.
Well, thank you, Sarath. That answers the question. I move on with the next question. Anyone of you can answer it. Where do we store the content for the success factor LMS? Is there a storage limit in the LMS?
Yeah, let me take this question. So yes, so whenever you take SuccessFactors LMS, you'll be getting a high content server from SAP, which has about 25 GB of space. And again, you can always connect your local servers to LMS. I mean, like it depends on your requirement. If you want to secure your data with your own servers, you can always have it. And if you want to go with high content, you will get 25 GB of space. And every time, I mean, like when I say 25 GB of space, you can always archive the redundant content.
Well, thank you, Nagesh. I go ahead with the last question for today's session, and this is from the education industry. Now it starts with us as a school, and we have exams every quarter, but these are time-based. Can we have time-based exams if we go online? So, Nagesh, would you want to take that?
Yes, absolutely. Like as I said, we have assessments. When I say assessments, you can have exams, quizzes. So when it comes to education kind of industry, yes, you can always prepare your curriculum programs, and you can always have time-based examinations. In the sense, you can give a time for the examination. By the time it's complete, the user has to complete a exam, or else he will be marked as fail. So that is always possible in SuccessFactors LMS.
Perfect. Okay. All right, with this, we come to an end of question and answer. I'm sure there are a couple of more questions which are there. but we would reply to those questions to those individuals. And thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your perspective on the topic. Thank you, Nagesh. Thank you, Sarath. I'm sure our audience would certainly derive meaningful thoughts from this discussion. Just to summarize, in few lines about today's session. Now, we started off with understanding what the system of LMS is. We also evaluated few of the industry, like Nagesh got into nitty-gritty of the manufacturing and the pharmaceuticals, and we also showed a case study wherein we had a manufacturing customer. So what kind of challenges were resolved by the application, by the use of LMS. We also saw that an LMS may be deployed for a variety of reasons, including career development, sales training, operational training, safety training. So anything that has to do with training and you want to automate it, LMS is your answer. And lastly, education sector as a whole can immensely take benefit from the LMS, from the concept of LMS. And as a recognized, talent and learning management software, the success factor LMS can put you ahead of the curve, and it can certainly help you in driving more of your people engagement and realizing your training goals, learning and development goals. Now, with this, I would like to invite Sarath to give a closing note and wrap up the session. So, Sarath, would you want to go ahead and give a closing note to today's session?
Yeah, thank you, Om. First of all, I would like to, thank all the participants of today's session. The objective is well described by Om, in terms of, what we wanted to convey through this webinar. The one point is that we just want to stress up is that SuccessFactor is a product of SAP, and SAP has been investing a lot in terms of improving this application, this particular functionality, more specifically on a regular basis. On a half-yearly basis, they keep on developing the functionalities and giving new features, adding new features into the module, the learning management and solution module. And this comes without any additional cost when you actually subscribe with SAP SuccessFactors. So what it means is that there's a great value add for you when you go for this kind of application, and it's continuously evolving, and they keep on continuously adding the new functionalities, and it doesn't require even a specific partner to implement those additional features. This is something that your core user who gets trained post the implementation or part of the implementation, he or she would be able to enable those new features and new functionalities into your existing system. So your system can be always robust enough, and it can be scaled up. It can be, with a in fact, it has got a multi-language abilities as well. So you can have this in your local language as such. It can have Arabic functional language enabled, so that the users of Arabic speaking, they can actually interact with the system in their own language. They don't have to get into the other language as such. So with the given situation of COVID-19, I think the need of every organization is to have these kind of applications where employees are remotely located, and they actually need to ensure that these employees utilize their time in the right way. And when they actually come back to the workplace, so they come with more skills rather than losing the skills when they're isolated, but they're actually gaining this knowledge out of these applications and coming back to the work with more knowledge and more skills. So that's, with that note, I wanted to thank you, Nagesh, in fact, for his wonderful session today. And I also thank Om and team for organizing this webinar.
Thank
Once
you,
again,
Sarath.
thanks to all participants, and
Thank you,
stay
sir.
healthy and stay safe.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarath, and thanks, Nagesh. Thank you, audience, for being so attentive and making the session interactive, although we are virtually connected through your questions. And just a note, the webinar would be available on demand after the live session. In a day or two, you will be receiving a link from us for accessing the recording. And once again, thanks everyone. Have a nice day. Let's fight Corona, follow social distancing, and stay home and stay safe. Goodbye and take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.